O'clock. Vanderbilt baseball coach Tim Corbin joins us now. Corbs, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Incredible run you guys are on. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me start with this. 13 of the 16 SEC teams, obviously, in the NCAA Tournament. 8 hosting out of 16 regions. How much of a grind is that SEC schedule? Not just physically, but mentally.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You said 13 teams, and I joined this league when there were 12, so that was back in 2003, so you know where we are now. But it's like when they add 2 more teams, it's like, okay, join the party. But what they're basically doing is just overloading. It's MLB at the college level. Everyone has resources, and because of that, I think the biggest change that I've seen in the league is just older players. You got older players, and people are retooling and reloading with kids from other schools, really good players from other schools. So the length of the lineup, 1 to 9 it just makes it very difficult in the pitching. The pitching is better. There's more power arms. The length of the bullpens is longer than it's ever been before. You used to be in a league where you may have had 1, 2, or 3 hitters that you really had to control, and then everyone else was pretty good. Now it's 1 to 9 you have to control. So it does make it difficult, and when you talk about the grind, that's what it's from.
Yeah,
it's a lot of talent.
So as a coach, like how challenging is that to kind of manage the mental part of that and not have players get burned out? You know what I mean? Because like now's it's a new thing, right?
Yeah, I think it's more about just recentering, I think, for young kids. I think when you get into sport, especially one where the resistance is a lot, what it does is it creates stress, and it creates stress to coaches. It creates stress for players. And stress is a real thing because what it does is it drains energy.
Yes.
So what you need to do is you get to a point where you give them tools. There's a lot of teaching in the off season. There's a lot of teaching during the season about how to center yourself. And centering yourself is, getting back to a middle, but really what does that look like? What does it look like in terms of mentally, and what are the tools you need, and what kind of breathing techniques do you use? But it's all of that, really, because you have to get back to a middle ground. If you're winning, then you have to learn how to recover from winning, because that's a real deal too. If you're losing, you have to learn how to recover from losing. But you just have to keep things at a very central part of your brain. Thinking about the future creates anxiety. So you can't think about outcomes. You just really have to be immersed in what you're doing. You have to be very present with what you're doing and intentional with what you're doing. And that's why I always wanted to come to Vanderbilt, because I felt like you're going to be working with smart, elite kids for the most part. So being able to teach those concepts was something I was very, that was important to me.
So, Coach, along those lines, I remember back to the first trip to Omaha in 2011, and just listening to you talk now just about, the off season and how to handle players and recovering after winning and losing. From that 2011 trip to right now, what is maybe the biggest thing that you've learned as a coach when you look at the road to Omaha?
Oh, Don, I think I probably learned more about the humanistic piece of teaching and coaching than sport itself. I feel like in a lot of different ways, the skills of sports are very, very important. You spend a lot of time on them. But I don't think you can tap into the skills of sports until you learn about yourself, until you're comfortable in your own skin, until you move away from posturing, until you get very vulnerable with who you are, what you need to do, how you need to get better. You gain a teachable spirit so that you can grow as a person. And then when individuals start to work in that manner right there, then you try to blend those traits into the team. And when the team starts living those traits, that's when trust is born. And trust is born inside the group. And when that happens, that's when you start to see consistent and positive outcomes. And I think that's where we're really at, because I think it took a little bit of time. Now,
it did.
Yeah, we were 11-9 in the conference in April, and we lost to MTSU on a Tuesday. We take the bus down to Ole Miss and lose the first game Friday and lose game Saturday, and they weren't quality games. And then we win 13-0 on Sunday. Now, I'm not going to tell you that 13-0 was the breakthrough moment, but what happened is it was almost like we surged a little bit offensively, and that momentum continued to build. And then it became a wave. And then when the wave started moving, we started moving with it. But I do think that team trust started to really develop at a high level. Then it became no longer, I have to get this done or we're going to fail. It became more about, okay, if I don't get it done, this guy's going to pick us up. And because I think, even though Brody Johnston was a freshman named MVP of the SEC tournament, I could have given you 10 different names of MVPs in that tournament. That was, Brody played well, but Brody was one of 10, 11, 12 people that made it possible for us to win in that environment. So that's a long answer to what you asked on, but
no, I love it.
It's fascinating just to kind of try to figure this out. And as we said, I mean, the season is. I love the wave analogy. Just right. We heard about a players only meeting. Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened, and I think it was part of. It was after we were really playing. We weren't playing bad baseball, but we just had a tough weekend at Oklahoma. And it was after Saturday we got 10 runs, and it was the only time we had. And they got together as a team, and I kind of know a little bit about what they talked about, but it was more about just coming together as a group. The pitching was pretty good, but they had a couple days there where it wasn't. The hitting was kind of up and down, and I think what they did is they probably relieved, just the tensions of one another, of having to do more than what was required. Because really, when you just stay in your lane and you just do what you have to do for the team, that's all that's required. Really, that's all that's required. You don't have to change lanes. You don't have to, do it for someone else. It's, you're doing it for your team. But I think that became a point for them. It was one piece. It wasn't just the magic dust moment, but it certainly helped.
So was it important for you to know what was discussed, or were you good with just the process of them taking it upon themselves?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, I think when you have kids, just in general, if you're a parent, you have kids, there's a lot of conversations that your own kids have about the family, and those are very healthy. You need that. I mean, I think as a parent or as a coach, you guide your kids to the best of your ability, but ultimately they have to take the keys and they have to drive the car. And you are no longer the driver's ed teacher that's saying, step on the brake, watch that turn up here, put on your blinker. It's more about you getting in the back seat and saying, or them saying to you, hey, listen, we've listened to you for a long time and we know what to do. Trust us. You get in the back seat and you enjoy this. And when a team starts doing that, that's a really cool thing. Now you're still teaching and you're still coaching. It's not one of those things where you just release everything to them, because you do have to guide them. I mean, especially if you've been coaching for 41 years, that doesn't make any sense to get completely out of the way. But at the same time, it has to be theirs. You have to release the opportunity for them, so you can empower them to feel good about what they're doing.
Well, let me tell you this, Corbs. If you end up in a vehicle riding with Don Davenport, you're going to want to be in the front seat and you're going to want to coach.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know that about you, Don.
No.
Yeah, you just stay on your little golf cart there, Coach, and stay
Coach,
out of the way.
We got things to do and places to be, right?
That's right.
Tim Corbin with us. Vanderbilt, the overall #1 seed. They've got Wright State coming up on Friday at 5 o'clock at Hawkins Field. Going to be a fun weekend over there. Slay Dog?
Coach Corb, let's do this. We're going to get in here in the boom boom room and see if you can handle it. I want you to stay in the box. Don't step out of the box, no matter what comes down or over the plate. If you can answer everything truthfully to the best of your ability, you will be out of the boom boom room. If you agree to these terms, the doors will be locked behind you. Do you agree?
I guess I have to. I'm on the radio show. I didn't know this was coming, though.
Yeah. Hey, you're trapped.
Yeah, I am.
Do you know what the Boom Boom Room is? Like, have you heard it before, Coach?
No, I haven't, but I'm
Okay.
excited to get in the Boom Boom Room.
Zell, lock the door.
Okay.
Are you going to explain it to him on any
did.
level? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go, Coach Corbin. Little quick hitters for you real quick to warm you up. These some softball pitches. Not a knock to what softball is doing because we know they throw heat too, but I'm standing back where the measurement is like baseball, just throwing some softballs to you. Jeans or shorts, sweats type of guy?
Jeans.
Okay. Suit or polo type of guy? Which one you feeling more comfortable in?
No, I don't really wear many polos, but probably a suit I feel comfortable in, but I don't wear many suits either. So I say suit.
You know, one of my most shocking moments as a radio host on 3HL was you showed up to do an hour-long interview with us in a suit. I could not believe it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry you have that image. Yeah.
Hey, okay. Have you seen anyone other than maybe Sonic the Hedgehog that is faster than Enrique Bradfield Jr.?
No.
Just flat out. Was it any moment where you had to tell him, Enrique, do not run on this? And he took off anyway, stole the base, and he was like, well, that's that.
I do remember that. Stole 4 bags at Tennessee on a Sunday, and I told him not to steal the 4th one because we were up by 8 runs and it was late in the game. And I said, we're going to play these guys again. And he stole the 4th one and put up all 4 fingers up high up in the air. I said, get your hand down right now.
That's an incredible story.
I love that. So when you're in the Boom Boom Room, Coach Corbs, man, this is about relaxing and letting the people get to know who they don't get to see when you're in your environment as far as coaching. 23 years in at Vandy. Take me back to when you were an assistant and what a day of relaxation would look like for Coach Corbs.
A day of relaxation, to be honest with you, was just going to a ball game. Maggie she was married to a basketball coach before she married me. Mm-hmm. I think she would remarry the basketball coach now that she's been married to me. Not really, but we haven't done anything non-baseball related, which is sad. That woman has because she plays tennis and pickleball, but I'm more of a hindrance. I'm all baseball. I don't have any interest. I'm a simpleton. I'm no fun to be around. I'm not really socially equipped to manage a conversation outside of this office. I deal with kids, not adults. So, yeah, I'm in my lane. I'm in my center point. There's not much good in me. So all I can do is really teach and coach.
Love that. You gotta get a game out of the way. You got 2 innings. You're up 1. Jack Leiter, David Price, or Kumar Rocker, who's closing the game for you?
Ooh.
Oh, boy. David Price was the greatest. Jack Leiter. But I'm going to say Kumar Rocker.
Ooh, I like that. I like that right there. Okay, last one, and I'll let you out of the Boom Boom Room. Mm-hmm. Who's the player that you're most proud of to help establish what you have going at Vanderbilt that didn't go pro or get the recognition that they may have deserved? Coach or player?
Boy. There's so many of them. That is such a difficult question.
That's the Boom Boom Room, Coach. That's what happens.
Yeah, I know. I gotta
stay in the box. I'm the umpire. Stay in the box.
Boy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Most proud of. That didn't get to the big leagues.
That didn't get to the big leagues or got the recognition that you probably were like, you know what, looking back on it 2 years ago, man, this guy right here he started all this. That 07 team, like all of these national championship runs, like they probably were the one to kick-start it.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll go back to Ryan Klosterman. Ryan Klosterman was a young guy that came with me from Clemson. He was 3rd on the depth chart. He was playing behind the National Player of the Year back then named Khalil Green. He came with me to Vanderbilt. I didn't guarantee him anything. He became a shortstop here and got drafted in the 5th round, played professionally, did not get to the big leagues. He is now the head coach at Bryant University. But the thing that was so important about this kid is because he helped create an environment that established a long-term culture. Because his work ethic, his drive, he knew me, he knew what I wanted. He set the tone for the rest of the team. And Tony Mansolino, who's now the manager of the Baltimore Orioles, he and Closty became really, really good friends. But I think about what we have today, I got to owe a lot of it to that young man right there. That was 2003 Ryan Klosterman.
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
Love that.
So
Love that.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin Colbert is a good friend of yours, right, Coach Corbin?
Yeah, Kevin was my college baseball coach.
So
And I was a student assistant football coach for 4 years while I was a college baseball player because of him.
Wow.
Beautiful insight right there. So to get out the boom boom room, Titans playing the Steelers, who you choosing?
Right now, well, Kevin's not a GM anymore.
He's not. You're right. You're right.
And I like Coach Tomlin, but I got to stay with my hometown team.
Loyalty, baby.
Loyalty.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I have to.
Coach Corbs, terrific job, man. Don't mind
Thank you.
the orange peelings that's on the floor. Vitello was in the boom boom room yesterday. Zeph, let him out of the boom boom room.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Hoo-ah.
Tim Corbin with us on 3HL
Good
again
job,
in action on Friday at 5 o'clock, and it's going to be a fun weekend at Hawkinsville. Coach, what do you look for in players when you recruit them?
I look for someone with a high care level in everything they do, and I mean that. Care level for their social life, academics, competition, baseball, gratitude. Someone who's grateful, someone who treats people well, treats their parents well, because that's their life team. I've made decisions on kids where I saw the other side of that, and at that point right there, you got to have the right fibers in order to play here. So a lot of it is humanistic in terms of, you have to be a skilled player, but I like great human traits too. I like guys who want to grow as men. That's important. And I've always looked at these kids like, okay, if they were going to marry Hannah and Molly, how could you help them so you could equip them for a better marriage and a better relationship? And I've always looked at these guys that way. I'm a step parent in life, and I feel like I'm a step parent in my professional life too. It's like you're learning to love other people's children when you get them for 2 and 3 and 4 years. And I take great pride in that. And I like the fact that I feel like I can teach a whole lot more than just baseball. And that's a huge part of what we do.
Coach, how do you and Maggie have enough space for all the people that feel like they're, or you have made feel like family and want to come back for Thanksgiving and Christmas and see you guys? I feel by this point, you don't have enough space in your house.
Probably not. I mean, this is our life, and we've just made it our life. I mean, if you went to the door in our house, you look to the left, and it's Maggie's den, and all she has on her den is just like this morning, a dozen gift wrap their presents, and their presents for our players who have had kids or are getting married. And it's just a lot of that all the time, and it's just keeping up with them. And the Rolodex grows, but I like it, and she loves it, and there's no other life. I mean, I think the thing about the life, I don't need a life scare to know that I'm running out of time. I understand my own mortality, and that can change at any moment. So I've got a real recognition to what to be grateful for. And I'm very grateful that I've been in the same city for 23 years with a wife, that we've been able to be in an environment where it's higher education, but develop such great relationships with kids that will stay with us for a long period of time, and hopefully we can stay with them too. So my life is just filled with gratitude every single day. And I feel like I've, in 41 years, have never changed as a teacher and coach. I have the same energy. I don't do anything else. It's the same every day. It's Sunday through Sunday. You wake up, I work out, I drive my four-wheeler here. I put on my baseball pants first thing in the morning, and I always have. And people say, why? It's because there'll be a day where I don't get to wear them. And I want the feeling of understanding what this feels like every single day. I don't take this for granted. I never want it pulled from my life. And it does really piss me off when I hear someone say, the game has passed me by. They have zero idea. I mean, this is on my mind all the time. It will never pass me by. I'm a learner. I want to learn all the time. I've got great energy and I'm in great shape. So I'm glad that, we have a team this year that we can celebrate, and hopefully we can continue to play well. We'll see. But we just enjoy this life.
Pulling for you, Coach.
Coach Corbs.
Thank you.
Speaking of, passing by with the evolution of the game in college sports all around in general, and I think a person that doesn't get their flowers enough, and I want you to speak on it, just what they mean to the program, passing from David Williams getting the torch and running with it as Candace Story-Lee, what has she meant to the university as far as bringing it up to speed, like the facilities, the players, the exposure for the coaches, the support for the coaches? Just what does that mean, what she's doing for the program?
Well, having watched Candace as a basketball player, I feel like I've watched her life grow, both as a student athlete, as a early professional here in compliance, watching David take her on as an intern, watch her become professional with David, and then becoming an athletic director at the most difficult time that you could, which was right in the middle of COVID. The thing I can say about Candace Story-Lee is, first of all, I love her. Second of all, she's the most humanistic leader that I've seen at any level. And I feel like females, and there's some great male leaders out there, but the thing about males in general is we take. We've never given. We don't know how to give life. We've never given birth. And the thing about females is they're givers. They're just that's a fiber of them. They're always giving and giving and giving and giving. And for someone like her to be in this position, I've watched her hire. I've watched her let go, and I'm not going to say fire. I've watched her let go. Yeah. And the cool thing about Candace is she can let a person go professionally, but still retain the relationship with that person after they're gone. I think she has a phenomenal way of communicating. She's going to continue to learn how to be an athletic director. But when you look at people that you want to be with, she always talks up to people. She never talks down to people. She's just a wonderful, wonderful person. And I've just enjoyed being her friend more than anything else. I mean, I'm a baseball coach. She's an athletic director, but throw away the titles. She's just a special human being that's helped move a part of a university and made it better because she's facilitated an environment to make other people around her better. And I love her for it.
So have you, Coach. Thank you for the time. We appreciate you, as always.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Pat. Everyone. Appreciate it.
There he is, Tim Corbin, Vanderbilt, #1 overall seed. We have to break, right, Jeff? We'll be right back.
It's Corbs.